All right, all right, relax, relax. Welcome back to the Brooklyn Block. I'm your host, Steven Marksman, straight out of Brooklyn, the borough where we don't whisper opinions, we yell them across the street like somebody stole our damn parking spot. Now, if you're new here, let me warn you right now. This ain't that soft corporate podcast where everybody's scared to say the wrong thing because some sponsor might cry. Nah, here we talk crazy. We talk honest. And sometimes we say the things people are scared to say out loud. So if you get offended, easy. You might want to grab your feelings and walk out the door right now. Because tonight we're talking about war, politics, media manipulation, and the biggest scam in modern history, corporate media. But before we jump into that madness, let me show love to the people that keep the lights on around here. Big shout out to SugarWaterRadio. Yeah, SugarWaterRadio. One of the only platforms actually giving independent artists and real voices a place to be heard. Not the corporate nonsense where some suit sitting in a skyscraper decides what the world listens to. Nah, SugarWaterRadio lets the culture speak, and I respect that heavy. If you got music and want real radio play, go check out sugar-water-radio.com. And shout out to Streamverse too, holding it down for independent creators who want their content seen without begging the industry for permission. Support the platforms that support you. Now, let's get into the madness, because the world right now feels like somebody walked into the control room of Earth and smashed the chaos button. We got wars popping off, oil markets jumping like they just heard a diss track, politicians yelling at each other, and the media acting like everything is perfectly normal. The United States and Iran are dancing around another major conflict. The Strait of Hormuz, the place where a massive chunk of the world's oil travels through, is getting real tense, which means gas prices might start looking like luxury items again. You thought eggs were expensive? Wait until your car needs gas. Meanwhile, Trump is calling up other countries asking them to step in and help, and Europe is acting like that friend who disappears when it's time to help move furniture. Germany, quiet. France, quiet. Everybody suddenly got very busy. But here's the part that made me spit out my coffee. Trump said the war might end when he feels it in his bones. In his bones. Not intelligence reports. Not military strategy. His bones. So apparently world peace now depends on Trump waking up and checking his skeleton. My knee feels peaceful today. Cancel the missiles. Only in this timeline, man. But the real story isn't just the wars. The real story is the media circus around it. Turn on the news and watch how they operate. They'll spend 25 minutes talking about celebrity nonsense, then give you 2 minutes about a possible global conflict, then cut to a commercial about toothpaste. That's the system. Distract people, confuse people, move on. And while all that nonsense is happening, real voices get pushed to the side. Independent creators, independent journalists, independent radio. Which brings me to something funny. Apparently the men in black, you know, those mysterious gatekeepers of media and power, have been sniffing around SugarWaterRadio, trying to see what's going on, trying to see how an independent platform is growing without their permission. Let me say something real clear. If the men in black are listening right now, you can respectfully fuck off. Yeah, I said it. Because independent platforms like SugarWaterRadio are exactly what the culture needs. We don't need more corporate networks controlling what people can say. We need real voices. And that's what this show is about. But let me talk directly to the listeners for a second. If you're tuned into this show right now, you need to understand something. The game needs to change. For too long, we've been supporting these corporate vampire networks. The same radio stations, the same TV channels, the same companies that block independent voices and control the narrative. And we keep feeding them. We keep giving them ratings. We keep giving them attention. Why? Why support a system that blocks you from entering the room? That's like standing outside a club where the bouncer already told you you're not getting in, and you still buying drinks for the people inside? Makes no sense. We gotta start building our own platforms, our own networks, our own culture. And that's exactly why I mess with SugarWaterRadio. Because they're actually trying to flip the script. independent artists, independent shows, independent voices. No corporate babysitters. So let me say this clearly. If you're tuned into this show and you're not feeling what I'm saying, do me a favor. Get the F off the show right now. Seriously. Because this ain't for everybody. This show is for people who know the system is broken. It's for people who are tired of fake conversations and brand-safe opinions. And it's for people who want to build something new instead of begging for permission. Tonight we're diving deeper into the madness. We're going to talk about how the media controls narratives, why independent creators are the future, and what happens when regular people stop waiting for permission to speak. So grab a drink, put the kids to bed, and get ready, because this is the Brooklyn Block. And if the truth makes you uncomfortable, you probably shouldn't be here. All right, let's go. Because now we getting into the part they really don't want you talking about. See, everybody's watching the headlines, but nobody's reading between the lines. You got wars popping up like pop-up shops. You got politicians acting like reality TV stars. And you got the media spoon-feeding you just enough truth to keep you confused. Not informed. Confused. There's a difference, because when people are informed, they ask questions. When people are confused, they argue with each other. And right now, everybody arguing, left versus right. This country versus that country. This leader versus that leader. Meanwhile, the real question is, who's controlling the damn script? Because it sure ain't regular people. And let's talk about this war energy for a second. Every couple years, it's a new situation, new enemy, new threat, new reason why everything's about to go left. And every time, they hit you with the same lines. This is about safety. This is about freedom. This is necessary. Necessary for who? Because last time I checked, regular people ain't waking up saying, yo, you know what I need today? A global conflict. Nobody asked for that, but somehow we always end up paying for it. Gas goes up, food goes up, stress goes up. But your paycheck? Oh, that stays right where it's at. Funny how that works. Beat cuts, pause. And let's bring Trump back into this for a second, because whether you love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. Dude talks like your uncle at Thanksgiving who had 2 drinks too many and suddenly became a world strategist. I got this, trust me. It's in my bones. Your bones. What is this? Marvel. Are we waiting for the Avengers or foreign policy? And listen, I'm not even mad at the man for being himself. I'm mad at the system that turns politics into entertainment, because now people don't even care about policies. They care about moments, clips, memes. Who said something wild today? It's not leadership anymore. It's content. And speaking of content, let's talk about why podcasts today went soft. Yeah, I said it. Everybody scared. Everybody tiptoeing. Everybody got a list of things they can't say. Why? Because they trying to get sponsored. They trying to get brand deals. They trying to stay safe. Safe don't change nothing. Safe don't build nothing. Safe is how you stay stuck. You know what safe is? Safe is sitting in a room knowing the truth and saying, nah, I'm not going to say that. I might lose followers. Man, lose them. If people only rock with you when you quiet, they don't rock with you at all. Short laugh, they rentin' space in your personality. And the minute you say something real, they moving out, good, let them go. This show ain't for them anyway. Now let me bring it back to something important, because I know somebody listening right now thinking, Steven, I hear you, but what we supposed to do? Good question. Here's what you do. You stop waiting. That's step 1. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for somebody to co-sign you. That co-sign ain't coming. And even if it does, it's gonna come with strings attached. Say this. Don't say that. Tone it down. Be more marketable. Man, forget all that. Build your own. Speak your truth. And find your people. Because trust me, they out there, they just tired of the fake stuff too. That's why shows like this exist. That's why platforms like SugarWaterRadio exist, because people are done with being controlled, done with being filtered, done with being told what they can and can't say, And yeah, when you step into that space, you gonna get heat. People gonna call you crazy. People gonna say you doing too much. People gonna try to shut you down. That's when you know you doing something right. Because if nobody's reacting, you probably not saying anything worth hearing. Let me say something real before we wrap this up. This ain't about politics. This ain't about left or right. This is about awareness. This is about people waking up and realizing the system is built to keep you distracted. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So now the question becomes, what you gonna do with that knowledge? Stay comfortable or make a move? Because the Brooklyn block, we already made our move. We talking, we building, we not asking for permission. And if that makes certain people nervous, good, stay nervous. So yeah, that's where we at. World going crazy, media playing games, and regular people stuck in the middle trying to figure out what's real. But at least here, on this block, you gonna hear it straight. No filter, no script, no apologies. This is the Brooklyn block. I'm Steven Marksman. And if you still here, you already know what time it is. Stay sharp, stay real, and stop letting people think for you. I'll catch y'all next episode.